whatever this delusion is that you guys will ever be able to compete with me, let go of it.
Salute, MobTube. How's everybody doing today? Ah, man. I'm sorry. What was I about? 10 minutes late. Listen, I was supposed to be early. I really was. I was. I had a phone appointment, I guess you could say, at 2 o'clock. Well, 10 after 2, technically. And I thought, what could it be? 20, 30 minutes? I was wrong. Wound up being 2 hours. Now, my plan was to take that phone call and then take a shower and shave my dumb fucking head. But didn't work out that way. I had a choice, either push this back to 5 o'clock and then take a shower and shave my dumb fucking head and do the show at 5, or just do it now, then shave my dumb fucking head and go out and do what I want to do. So here we are. Let me see what's going on in this chat. This can't be wrong. Dave, Mikhail1, Sally, Sven Larson. Let me see. Danny Green. Angela's Right Nut. Midwest Mafia Productions. Oh, okay, bro. If I do a live tonight, which, come on. Have a good night at work, bro. Definitely. Let's see. Who else we got here? Midwest Mafia Productions again. Hold on, what's that? Yeah. Also more. Trying to read some comments as I go. More videos getting made on my MMP channel. Trying to drop some funny ones. Sweet. I was checking your shit out the other day. I suggest everybody subscribe to Midwest Mafia Productions channel. If I was him, I would drop my link in the chat. Who else we got? Don Berlin. A glorious pre-happy birthday unto thee, Shim. Inshallah, Bim. It's a miracle you made it this far. May you continue to ride 2 steps ahead of the coroner and 1 step behind the undertaker. Beautiful pre-birthday message. Yes, I will be in 4 days. 44 fucking years old. Wow. Pretty sure I was supposed to be dead by 20, I think. Then I made it past that milestone and I thought, okay, 30. 30 is going to be it. Next thing you know, 40 hits. Still here. Now I'll be 44 in 4 bitch-ass days. And I think it lands on a Sunday, which is always a little depressing. But it's all good. Thank you for the birthday cake, Stan Berlin. Michael Hensley, we love you too. Precisely, and from the looks of it, he is once again dead asleep. Get out the dough and get to work, chop, and pick up the pace. No, I certainly was. I talked to you earlier, so you know I wasn't asleep. No, I was on the phone. It was very, very important, and I couldn't put it off, I guess we'll say, you know. That's quite some push-ups. Lucky Luciano, what's up, bro? Edward Everett. Tatone. Robert B. Good to see you. What else we got? Lance 33. Shout out to Pittsburgh, my friend. Good to see you, as always. Enjoyed FBS. I thought I would live 30 tops. Now I'm 69. Well, that's a good thing, Sally. Definitely a good thing. It's amazing how resilient the body can be, right? The human body. Holy shit. The stuff I put mine through, should have checked out a long time ago. I'm sure you feel the same, Sally. D. Gainey, what up? What it is? Yeah. You know, it's all good. If I would have said I got to push it back till 5, that would have been even more irritating to you guys. So I am uncomfortable. I do feel like a filth ball, okay, because I haven't shaved my dumb fucking head or showered yet. I threw on this shirt, which is probably wrinkled. I don't care. No time to steam any fucking thing, okay? And my toes can't afford another spilt, steamer incident, boiling water. Can't have it. I already can't fucking walk still, and it's been 3 weeks. You could thank War for praying like a crazy man for your sorry self as well as your broken down, busted body parts. You think it's all due to War's prayers, huh? Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. All right, guys. So I had not even a second to think before this show, so I'm going to let you pick the subject matter. You pick the topic, and I'll go from there. You know how we do it. What's on your mind when it comes to addiction and recovery on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon? It's funny. I was just talking to somebody on the phone, and I was kind of talking about my life a little bit. And I said, you know, because they were asking about MobTube. I said, I know that after hearing this story, you must think that I'm out of my fucking mind, just completely and totally out of my mind to be doing this. But my options are limited. And I've gotten to experience some great things on MobTube. Some great things. I think it's fair to say, in a way, sort of a dream come true and a nightmare at the same exact fucking time. But considering where I was just over 4 years ago, I can't complain. Oh, okay. All right, Don Berlin. He sent me a topic. How about that? You're always on it, my friend. Wait. Oh. Can raging resentments lead to relapse? And if so, how do you deal with resentments so that they don't? That's actually a good topic. And I believe yes. I believe absolutely. Although, I guess it depends on what the resentment is. Exactly. Resentment for yourself, resentment for other people, for certain things. Give me more details, Don, and I'll take it from there. Oh, thank you, man. Shout out to Boston, Danny Green. Appreciate you. It's never easy, FPS. No, it ain't. I mean, resentments in general, there's no question about it. If you're resentful for whatever or whoever, whatever reasons, that's going to put you in a dark place, depression wise, everything else. And it's very, very hard to stay clean and sober when you're angry, and resentments lead to anger. Okay. So, let me talk about something that I would apply that to. Okay. All of us have done damage throughout our addictions, right? We've all done damage. Yeah. No, I got you, Don. Yeah. Joseph Montanero, what's up, bro? We've all done damage to, say, personal relationships. We've done damage to our health. We've done damage financially to ourselves. Okay. And these are all things that no matter how much time passes, it's very hard to deal with the consequences of all that stuff, even if it's just people in your life that have yet to forgive you, things like that. Now, I take the approach, which you guys know, I've spoken about it many, many times, of, well, if say somebody's mad at me or a group of people are mad at me for my past, for the things I did, maybe specific things I did to them, maybe my behavior in general, whatever, and they just refuse to forgive. Now, for me, my answer to that is, like I've said many times, well, nobody is obligated to forgive you. So you shouldn't resent anyone. If anything, be mad at yourself. But I've known many, many people who are in that boat. And I've even talked to some people from the MobTube community who have gotten clean and sober, and people have yet to forgive and forget. I try to tell people they're probably never going to forget. And, as far as forgiveness, that's up to them, you know, but people will start to resent those individuals because a lot of people feel entitled to that forgiveness, and they feel like they can't live the way they want, the lifestyle they want to live, or the lives they want to live without having certain people in their, in their lives. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm not saying this well, but you know what I'm saying. Uh, so they let that resentment drive them to do bad things, like, for example, possibly relapse. Uh, it's never any type of solution, as we've spoken about before. It doesn't matter. Like, say you relapse due to the anger you feel from the fact that people are still mad at you and refuse to forgive you or whatever. Well, you know that as soon as you relapse, whatever you're going to do, you'll just be digging in deeper and you'll make it worse. That's why I always say, like, when I say people should get clean ASAP, it's because every single day that you use or continue to use, you're putting off any good things that might come to you once you do get clean and sober. You're putting it off another day, and you have a whole nother day, even though that's not a word, a whole nother, to make to do more damage and create more chaos and destruction. It's amazing what an addict can do in just one day, the amount of chaos he can cause, and the horrible things that a person can do just within 24 hours. And I say that because, as I've told you 8 billion times, I am a violent drunk. I am an angry drunk. I am not a fun person to be around, especially when it comes to alcohol in general. And let's be honest, if I'm doing coke, that's my drug of choice, really. I'd be drinking. So, during my active addiction, I'm going to have alcohol in my system pretty much always. So I'm not fun to be around, and I've done so much damage in such a short period of time. I mean, overnight. I sat in that hotel a couple of times, and I started to fuck around with my phone, and boy, is that dangerous when you're drunk. Oh, especially if you're a mean drunk like me. I would start making Facebook posts and texting people and calling people, and then I'd wake up the next day and I look at Facebook and I'm like, I posted that. And half my friends list is gone. They've unfriended me. And the other half is like, what the fuck, bro? Why would you say that? And then I look at my phone and it's like, oh my God, look at these fucking calls. I called these people. Look, I was on the phone with this one for 9 minutes. What did I say? Then you look at your text messages and you're like, oh no, that's what I said. You know? And not just that. I mean, I've gotten into fights. I've gotten myself arrested. I've, woken up in police stations and everything else. I mean, Jesus Christ. So, yeah, resentments can definitely, and the rage from resentments can definitely lead to relapse. I think they do. They're probably a leading cause of relapse. Because we're all resentful for something. Look at the country we live in. I mean, half the goddamn country is resentful that they didn't get everything they want in life, and that everything isn't hunky dory every fucking single minute of every day. They feel like that everybody's to blame but them because they're not living the lives they want to live. So it's no different. I mean, people are already programmed that way. Unfortunately, especially spoiled people. But when a lot of people, again, who are addicted to anything, they always have an excuse for why they're addicted. Who got them addicted? Who caused this? What's the reason for it? Look, I played a Bam clip a while ago. Remember Bam? He was blaming his mother. He's blaming his girl. He's blaming his father. It's your fault, Bam. It's your fault. But the problem is, a lot of people take those resentments and all that bullshit, that blame game, right into recovery. So then they get clean and sober, And they're still blaming everybody else for the fact that they ever had a problem. They're mad at the world. And they refuse to see the fact that it's them and them only that's responsible for where they were and where they are today. And then a lot of people live with resentment in general. I mean, Jesus Christ, the things that you can lose. People lose their entire families during their active addiction. I told you I was in outpatient rehab in 2000 or 99, whenever the fuck it was, with a guy named Ira, who he had, I forget how many. He had a chain of restaurants, though. He was a multi-millionaire. He lived in a big fucking mansion, beautiful wife, beautiful kids. And she started smoking crack. He lost everything. Everything. You know, while he was in outpatient, he was living in a shelter. You know, you're going to be resentful about those losses. You're going to be pissed off, and you might even blame some of those people for those losses. You might blame his wife for leaving him. But how can you do that? Would you have left you? You know, I can't blame anybody who walked away from me during my addiction for walking away from me. I would have walked away from you too if you were putting me through that. So yeah, man, done, definitely. Definitely. And I probably, you know, maybe without realizing it, I probably have some resentments of my own. As a matter of fact, I can tell you straight up I do. Don, remember that conversation we had about that thing that took place? Or did it? Remember? I'm very resentful about that. Something that altered my life, most likely forever. And I still don't have answers. You know, and maybe I'm mad at the person who I feel like owes me those answers. I'm resentful as shit. I think we all are. The key is to always keep in mind that none of that shit gets better. None of it gets better by relapsing or using again, and whatever you want to call it, you know, picking up. Everybody has a different terminology. None of it gets better. It only makes it worse. Let me see. Don Berlin, one of the problems with raging resentments is that it gives one license to go back out and use or get drunk. It's like a driver's license into hell. Yes, absolutely. Um, I wouldn't say license. Well, I guess, yeah, it's in the form of an excuse. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I mean, it does because, you know, well, the way I look at it, it's all about personal accountability. And the one thing about drug addicts and alcoholics that I've seen a lot when people relapse is that someone else is always to blame. So if you have these resentments and stuff, especially if they're towards, you know, other people and things that you feel they may have done to you, then it's like Don said, you know, you feel justified in doing it because poor you, you're the victim, you know, or if it's just you know, things you resent yourself for, misery, things you're going through, whatever, and you feel like you need to kill that pain in some way, and nobody can blame you for just trying to do that. Well, yeah, we can. Because the key is always going to be that you have to keep in mind at all times. I don't give a fuck if you got to write it down and keep it on the dashboard of your car, whatever. That no matter what the fuck your excuse or justification for relapsing is, um, you're only going to make things worse. There's no way things can get better by you going out and using, even if it's just for one more night. Don Berlin, you should join me on this show because you got me into this whole resentments thing. God damn it. How dare you? I'm dropping the link for Don Berlin. We're going to have a conversation. Dropping the link for you right now. I don't want no excuses. I'll be very resentful of you if you turn me down. Yes, Don Berlin. Yes, you know. But I think it all comes down to anger in general. You got to learn to let go. You just got to learn to let go. Man. Like even the people in my life who have yet to forgive, you know what I said? I said, you know what? Yes, I am. I am, Sally. You know what I realized? And I realized this a long time ago, too. And I think I was very fortunate to come to this conclusion about certain things that I felt at one point needed to be fixed right then and there when I want them to be fixed. Uh, I came to the conclusion that the more I push somebody to forgive me or to let something go from the past or to give me another chance, the more I'm pushing them away, the more damage I'm doing. Because people just, let me tell you something. One of the most important things in life, in any relationship of any kind, is to give people their space. If you want a healthy relationship of any kind, I don't care if it's a child with a parent with a child, a sibling with a sibling, whatever the fuck, okay? A boyfriend with a girlfriend, a husband with a wife, whatever. Um, you got to give people their space. Okay. Even sometimes when things are going well, give them their space. Like I can, for example, I can see if Shanna's getting frustrated. Like if the dogs are fucking around and Braden's hyper and whatever might be going on, and I can see if Shanna is starting to get a little frustrated. Right. I understand. I get like that too. So you know what I do? I say, Braden, come on, man, let's go, bro. We're gonna take a car ride. We'll just go drive around for an hour somewhere, some shit. Take care of the pets, do whatever, and see to it that Shanna has some quiet time. This is why Shanna understands why I stay up late, because that's my space from everything. That's my time. But especially when things aren't good and a relationship is damaged. All right, Don, 5 minutes is cool. You have to give people their space. You can't nag a motherfucker into wanting to forgive you. They're gonna become resentful of you because you're not respecting the fact that they need fucking space or time or both. Don't push people to forgive you. They never will if you do that. Now they'll be mad at you for pushing them as well. So I learned this. If there's anybody in my life who's still mad at me from things I did in the past, I mean, friends. Luckily, I'm fortunate. I don't have any family really anymore that's really mad at me like that. I'm sure my whole family, I'm sure they all have little things they're pissed off about. Still and always will be. But I mean, with me, it's not so much family as it is, because a lot of that stuff has been fixed, I think, already. It's other things, friends, stuff like that, exes, shit like that. If it's somebody that forever, for whatever reason, I might, even care about their forgiveness, even if I don't necessarily need them in my lives now, I just want to know that maybe whatever pain I caused you is gone and you don't resent me anymore. If they're not showing you that they've gotten to that point yet, walk away from them completely. And I mean it. And I'm not saying like give up on them and say, well, fuck off. You won't forgive me? Fuck you. No, no, no. I'm saying go away and just let them live their lives and don't bother them. I don't care if you don't hear from them 10 years from now. If they want to be in your life, they'll call you. That's it. Period. They'll call you. And I say this again, because I have friends that, you know how I feel about friends, right? There's very few that I feel that are actually friends, that I'm actually close to. I use the word friends pretty loosely with the assumption that, I would think people know that I don't mean when I say, when I call any specific individual or whoever on or any random individual on YouTube a friend, I don't necessarily mean that they're on the same level as a guy I knew since I was 15 years old and we've been through hell and back together. You know what I mean? I know I use that term pretty loosely, but there are a few people throughout my life that till this day I could say, wow, they really were good friends. There's a couple of them who I did wrong because they weren't in the same state of addiction as I was. Even if they were somebody I might have gotten high with every now and then, they weren't in the same state of addiction as I was. They weren't putting in. They weren't. They were never in. For example, there's probably been times where friends of mine who weren't looking for danger were put in danger by being with me, stuff like that. And I was too goddamn fucked up and selfish to even think about it or care. I'm not going to give specific examples, but people that might have felt that their association with me put them in harm's way. I don't know. Maybe things I did to them, stuff I said to them that they didn't deserve, shit like that. Well, there's very few people, like that in my life who I actually give a fuck about. I'll tell you the truth. Mostly what I call friends are people I'll walk away from in a heartbeat. It's the ones who I really consider friends that I care about keeping in my life, And yeah, there's been some that I've hurt, and I've reached out a couple of times. They didn't seem receptive, so okay. I'm not going to keep bothering you. It would be disrespectful. I can't do that to you. You're not ready to talk to me. Cool. And listen, this is what I decided. I decided that the worst case scenario is that person's not in my life anymore. Now I come to another crossroads. Can I deal with that? Can I live my life without that person in my life if I have to? And I always come to the conclusion that yes, I can. Because you got two choices. If they're not going to be in your life, you either learn how to live life without them, or what's the other option? It's not real desirable, is it? So if you're going to live, you got to live regardless of the circumstances. So you can't put too much. I don't know. You can't let too much ride on any one particular relationship. Unfortunately, you just can't, because some people are never going to forgive you. They're never going to let go. Some people you've lost forever. It's just the way it is. But don't use that as an excuse to start getting fucked up again or getting high or, it's full-blown relapse, whatever. And when I say full-blown relapse, I mean, it's one thing when a person slips and goes out and hits the bar for a night or does a bag of coke. It's another thing when you relapse and you're right back into active addiction. I don't know. I'm a rambling idiot. Don't listen to me. Look at these two distinguished gentlemen we have down here. Look at this. We got Don Berlin and Robert Pete.
Hello, hello, hello.
How you
Can you
doing,
hear me?
guys?
Good, guys. How you doing?
All right, I only got a minute. I'm not at home right now.
Oh, is there something you wanted to say?
No, I just wanted to pop on and say hi. And we always had this saying when I was early in recovery that expectations are premeditated resentments, and resentments are
Ah,
premeditated relapses.
damn, I like that.
So it
Yeah.
goes around
That's
and around.
that's from what, AA?
Yeah, early on when I was going to the meetings.
Wow, I know. See, like I said, I never did AA. You gotta text me that shit or something. I like that. That's very
Yeah,
true.
yeah, it
Isn't it,
is.
Don Berlin?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, good. All right. Usually something goes haywire with my many connections.
Oh, here's the
Robert, how are you?
boss is back. I gotta roll. I'll catch it as soon as I can. And when I get back on, I'll jump on.
All
All
right,
right.
bro.
When I get a chance, I'll jump back on.
All right, bro.
I had him fucked away.
Oh, I gotta kick him off. All right, there you go. What's up, Don? How the fuck
No,
are you? What do you think about that? I'm assuming that's an expression that you're familiar with already.
I am. I am. And it's very true. It's very true. I mean, what I mean by when I say resentments, it's kind of like what you said, entitles you, or you delude yourself into believing that it entitles you to, drink or use drugs. So, it's really a license to go out and and say, I am so mad at this person, and I feel that it entitles me to, drink over my anger for this individual for what he did to me.
Yep.
So that's what I mean by that, and I think the other thing you said that's right is that it is one of the leading causes of relapse, believe it
Oh
or
yeah.
not. Definitely, definitely. And the reason why I actually texted that to you, so today, so supposing hypothetically, okay, your desk where you're sitting right now has all your computer shit set up. You have your external hard drive that you have connected to it. You have all of the side computers and everything else is all connected, and it's in a conference room hypothetically, okay?
Yeah.
And some fat fuck comes into the conference room, okay, folds down your computer in the middle of a download that you took. It took you 6 fucking hours to get these files together to do your work, and you were in the middle of downloading it all, okay?
I feel like this
And
happened to you today, Don, but go ahead.
that's correct. And then he decides to pick up it all. And these are like the encryption devices, the VPN device, the external VPN, the hard drive, and everything else. And all day yesterday, I worked towards getting everything ready to put down on this external hard drive, send it, and then began the process of downloading. When this fat fuck shows up in the conference room and just packets up everything, okay, picks it all up and throws it on a chair. And while I'm out of the room or what have you, I come back. I mean, like, as you know, I probably have been rumored to have a temper and what have you. And I look at it, and it's kind of like what you've shared before. Sometimes, you're very careful at what you say because you know that you could lose it, and it
Oh
could
yeah.
have terrible consequences. And in government, you cannot do that because no matter how horrible the situation may be, you can't do that. It'll land up badly for you, and which is exactly what happened. Um, so I couldn't understand the logic of this. This is a large conference room. My little tiny stuff was in an area that was, literally a small little tiny area, and this guy just picks up everything, throws it on a chair, and then throws his bag on top of where I was, okay, and throws my bag that was underneath the table off to the side. And I said, "Who are you? Who are you?" And he said, "Who are you?" And I said, "I'm Don Berlin. I'm the SIA here. What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm not talking to you. You're not polite." And I said, "I'll be back." Anyway,
You're not polite.
no, right. And
That's Don Berlin flexing. I'm Don Berlin, bitch. Who the fuck are you?
I know, Jesus, God Almighty.
I like that.
So I get one of the seniors to go there. I figured, okay, I'm going to get somebody that's like 3 levels up above me, on the, if you will, on the organizational chart, to go in there, and because my boss was out of town, so I figure I'll get an Uber boss to go in and tell this guy what's what, okay? And meanwhile, I'm just getting like really, really infuriated by this, because one thing I don't like doing is redoing the same thing over and over again after I've done it one. I mean, it just burns the fucking shit out of me. So, so now the Uber boss goes in. I think he's going to come back to me and say, okay, I really gave him shit, yada, 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 some sense of satisfaction for my ills, okay? And which, by the way, did not happen. So now I have a double resentment going. I figure, okay, I'm going to do something like really, really bad if I don't leave and come home and like either feed the dogs, mow the lawn, listen to this program or what have you. Which brings me to the point of my sad story, and that is, so what do you do? when you have a raging infection. Raging infection. Raging.
God
Raging.
damn, Don.
Yeah.
Freudian slip.
Yeah, exactly. Raging resentment. So, what
I
do
think
you
I have a
do?
I think I have a raging infection in my toe, but go ahead.
Oh, Jesus. Well, that's because you're a klutz. Anyway, so,
Fucking
uh,
right I am. Doppy son of a bitch I am.
yeah. So I figure, okay, so what do you do? Okay, in all seriousness. And that is you step away. You walk away because you may say something or you may do something that is only going to compound the resentments and have a consequence. And that's the one thing you want to avoid. Because I could have said something or done something to this guy, um, and it would have had a very bad, potentially bad consequence for me. So that's what I do. And I'm not saying necessarily I'm right, but think about it like, like coals on a barbecue. Okay. Those coals are burning really, really, really hot when you turn up the flame and what have you, and sometimes you just have to step away so that the coals cool and then come back to it and what have you. But it's not easy to do. It's not easy to do. So anyway, so that's my sad story for today.
Sorry that things turned out that way, Don.
The,
It'll get better.
no, it
Now
won't.
you're
It'll get worse. I'm sorry.
no, you can never think that way. Never, never, never.
Yeah, I understand. I
That's what I
understand.
do sometimes, and it fucks
Yeah,
everything up.
I know. I know. But the thing is that what not to go over this again, but supposing you had, like, say hypothetically, you were downloading, say, 3,000 files, and you're in the midst of being downloaded, and suddenly the connection drops.
Yeah,
Okay.
oh yeah.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, that's happened to everybody. All right. So now you have to go through, you either have one or two choices. You go through all the files and figure out, what got downloaded, what didn't get downloaded. Well, 3,000 files, forget it. It'll take you a year to do that. Or you start all over again. Okay. So my blind fury at this guy was, you realize what you did. Okay. And
Mhm.
when I tried to tell him that, there was absolutely no cognition whatsoever about, well, first off, why he did it, and secondly, the damage that he caused. So anyway,
No,
there
I
you
hear
have it.
you, bro. That's enough to drive you insane.
Oh God, you have no idea.
Let me ask you something.
Yeah,
After you got clean and sober, what kind of
yeah.
resentments did you have?
Um, you know, um, I think at the losses that I sustained. And it was more, I would say, sadness than resentments. But it was, for whatever I can recall anyway, because don't forget, my story started with I literally crashed into recovery. I was in a horrible car accident, crashed through the windshield, was almost dead, was discovered by a passing Chicago Sun-Times delivery truck at about 4:15 in the morning, who then called the police and the fire department, and away I went. And then I was in a neuro intensive care unit for several days. I think about 12 days until I got moved down. So I don't have a lot of memory of that. But what I do remember is when I came to, okay, and that was roughly 12 days post accident. I never looked up into the heavens and said, God, why have you forsaken me and left me like this? Because I was just coming off of a ventilator and
Fuck
um,
that.
and really, really badly injured. So that was my first thought. And then as I recovered and what have you, and I lost my career, lost my job, lost my license to drive. I was seizure active. You certainly, if you can't have a driver's license on the ground to drive because you have seizures, they're never going to allow you to have a pilot's license. to fly in the sky, while you're seizing. That's bad for the passengers, to say the
Yeah, I'll
least.
say a little
Yeah.
bit.
So I lost my pilot's license. And by the
I'm
time
resentful that I never had a pilot's license. I'm sorry. Go
well,
on.
yeah, I could teach how to fly if you're interested.
No, I'm good.
Um, I could just see you up in the sky,
Oh my
and some guy, and the ATC, the air traffic control operator says, okay, turn right 360 and maintain flight level, 27,000 or whatever. And you say, hey, fuck you, asshole. I'm going up to 36,000,
Yeah, don't
whether
tell
you
me what
like
to
it or
do.
not, I could just see that. And I'm not going 360. I like 310. So move that traffic around me. That doesn't work, Chris, by the way. So
Sure
anyway,
it doesn't.
no, no. You have to understand that like flying in the sky is no different than operating a car on the street. Okay, you wouldn't go across a field, to get to the next road. You have to
Of course
you have
not.
to drive on the roads that are paved. Well, the sky's the same way. There are air lanes that you follow and that you're given by the air traffic controllers, and you better do that or you can land up in a lake, literally. But anyway, so back to your question about resentments, and then finally, I think, after I realized, this was about March of 1990, and the accident happened on June 6, 1989. And I got to Recovery House on Christmas Day, 1989. So I was in the hospital for roughly 5.5 months. So when I finally got to Recovery House and what have you, um, I think my resentments were more towards myself and what I had done to myself and the damage that I'd done to myself because I lost everything that I built up, my life around and what have you. And I was just so sad. And I've told you privately the other part of the story with my dad and everything else. You know, I'm not going to get into that here, but nonetheless, it all came dawning to me. How the terrible things had become and what have you. And so my resentments were mostly towards myself. You
Mine
know,
too.
yeah, yeah. So and I think that's pretty common with addicts. I really do.
Yeah, it is depending on the person you are. Again, there's so
Yeah,
many people that always
yeah,
have somebody else to blame. But that's what I
yeah.
was saying, even about relationships. That's why it makes it easy for me to leave the people alone who might not be ready to have me back in their life because
Oh yeah.
I totally understand that it's my fault. You have every reason to be mad at me. It wasn't your fault. It was my fault.
I
You're
tell
an innocent
people,
victim in my
yeah,
fucking stupid addiction.
yeah. I tell people all the time, don't wake up one morning and say, I think I'll dial up so and so to make amends. That's the time not to make the amends. The best amends letter I ever wrote in my entire life, I still got in a drawer. Truly,
To yourself.
yeah. And and the reason why I say that is because you'll know intuitively, you will know there'll be a confluence of circumstances which will come together, and you will know when the right time is to make the amends. It'll happen. It just unfolds. But when you try and wake up and run around, particularly early in recovery, when you don't have any time, that's the worst time to do it because it just doesn't work, you know.
Yeah.
When I was drinking, the bartender used to say, "Put something on the bar beside your elbows, or get the fuck out." Okay, and what he meant was money.
Yeah, of
And
course. Yeah.
yeah, right. And I say the same thing about recovery. Put something on the books, of recovery, or get out and come again. So
Yeah.
you need to get some time to get together, or the genuineness of your amends is going to be hollow. And it just is. And that's just my personal opinion. The people that run out and make amends, spontaneously because they feel like it, boy, those are the ones that just don't work.
No.
No.
No, they don't. No, and you're almost insulting the person, by
Yeah.
assuming that they're even ready to hear you or that they owe you some sort of fucking forgiveness. Let me ask you something, not to change the subject, but
Yeah.
um, again, I had one of those moments the other day. We were in Gettysburg and we were eating in this. They call it the beer garden. It's just an outdoor seating area at this place called Sweeney Tavern in Gettysburg.
Yeah.
And they have a bar there, and they don't have waitresses outside and stuff. Basically,
Mhm.
you go up to the bar, you order your food, they bring it out to you, whatever.
Right.
And I had to go to the bar to order, and the bartender wasn't there yet, and I'm just looking around, and I'm seeing all the bottles. And I had one of those moments that I have from time to time where I just wanted to grab one of those bottles and pour the entire thing down my fucking throat. Now I'm a little over 4 years into recovery. You're what? How many?
33. And let me tell you
33.
something, Chris. I had the same feelings driving home today. Honestly, I'm the first
Really?
to admit that. Absolutely. I said, I used to drink Stoli on the rocks, cold, really cold, and occasionally kamikazes, which are even colder. And I said to myself as I was driving home, this could be the solution. You know, I just, I was just so angry about this. And then you have to kind of look at it and say, well, what is it about that incident? Wasn't that big of a deal in the context of things? um, what was it that triggered that anger, from within? I have yet to figure that quite out yet, but I'm sure in the coming days I will. But I have not had that kind of response or sense of desire to go out in a long, long time. But I will tell you this much: no matter how long you are in sobriety or recovery, that happens. It's a normal reflex, just is.
Yeah.
Um, and you
So,
just have
so
to.
that was my question because I wonder, is that something that's, I mean, obviously you already answered, but I always wondered, is that something that comes early on in recovery and then dissipates after a while, or do you always get those cravings no matter what?
I don't know about the cravings, but I know that the fleeting thought will quickly, come to mind, and then you will hopefully come to your senses and say, wait a minute, let's get realistic here. And that's what I said at the outset. The solution for me when it involves raging resentments is to walk away from it because I know my temper. I do. Um, and I know how explosive it can be. And if I don't walk away, I know there'll be consequences for me that will occur. So that's why I do that.
Well, on a
Um,
lighter note, let me just ask you because,
yeah.
there are rumors. Um, is that fat fuck by any chance going to turn up missing?
I hope so. And if I can arrange it, he's gone. you know, you know, sooner rather than later. Jesus. Oh God. And the thing is that I recognize this guy. Put it. I can't remember where, but when I find out, or when I do recall, I shouldn't say that, but whatever. Anyway. Um, and then going back to your other question about, like the fleeting thought had passed by you when you were at the bar and what have you. I always say, walk backwards 3 days in your life and think about that fleeting thought as like the punctuation at the end of the sentence. In other words, of relapse, say, hypothetically. Um, and think back 3 days ago. What happened to you roughly, in rough terms, roughly 3 days ago? Because that's kind of like the way it works. It's a delayed reaction. Um, so some horrible thing or angry thing or upsetting thing or what have you happened 3 days ago or so. It's not an absolute, but think of it as a delayed reaction. Something happened, and then it manifests itself as, I'm at this bar and what have you. And because I bet you that under certain circumstances or better circumstances, perhaps, if that had happened to you, you wouldn't even have an effect upon you. In other words, go walking into a bar and what have you. You've probably been in many bar/restaurants in recovery, right?
Oh, tons. That's the thing. It's rare. I don't know what triggers it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But like, I think with me, I'm going to tell you. Like I was talking a while ago about Florida and what
Yeah.
it's like there, like in Fort
Yeah.
Lauderdale. Forget
Yeah.
Miami. I mean, Jesus.
Yeah.
But even in Fort Lauderdale, when you're on that strip there, the A1A and all that shit, and
Yeah.
fucking all
Yeah.
those bars and stuff. See, I my drug addiction was always an alcohol addiction was always so severe that I never even. This might sound insane, but I never even really had that enjoyable part where you partied and had fun and you fucking you know you did what normal people can do. And I think that's I always feel like I missed out on that at some point. But then I got to remind myself that even if I were to try again, I still couldn't do it like normal people do it. There's no way. You know what I mean? Like because I'm not
It,
normal.
the thing is that I can only speak for myself. It always starts out fun, okay, and it always ends in a nightmare. So the beginning of my drinking career and using career and what have you,
Drinking
when I was
career.
very, very young, I mean, it was a lot of fun. I had a lot of friends and our so-called friends that we did a lot of crazy things together. I mean, insane things together, truly, when I tell you. Um, and and we had a lot of good times and what have you. One time, just a short story. A friend of mine, one of the 12 that I grew up with, as a young person, while drinking and using, had died. Not unusual. Okay, this one died of, I don't know, a gunshot wound or something like that. Um, but anyway, and we were all, at the River Shannon in Chicago. For those of you in the chat that know Chicago, the River Shannon is on, I think, Sedgwick and Armitage. But this place is so rough that the windows, okay, they stopped putting in glass windows because there were always these fights and the windows would break. So then they put in plexiglass windows. So you just
Mhm.
like the stools would just bounce off the windows. Anyway, so we figured, okay, the logical thing to do is to stay at the River Shannon, have a whole bunch of drinks and what have you, and then sneak into the funeral home. This is a true story. Sneak into the funeral home, steal our friend's body out of the coffin, put him in the back seat of the car, and drive back to the River Shannon, put him on the chair that he used to drink at, and have cocktails. That was our plan. And
Wow.
literally, we're in the parking lot of the
Jesus.
funeral home waiting to figure out how to bypass the alarm system. You know,
I think that would be desecration of a corpse, wouldn't it, Don?
and something like that. Well, we wouldn't have been desecrating. We would have been having cocktails with our buddy. Anyway, so we never finished that. I think something happened that intruded upon our plan and what have you. But my point being is, it always starts out fun, crazy, and insane. Okay, and then at the end, it lands up disastrous. Everything turns to shit, and you lose everything. And that's what happened to me. Certainly, that's what happened to you. So all I can tell people who might be struggling with recovery and might be on the channel today is, you know, if you're thinking about stopping, and having trouble doing it, and are still using and drinking, this is the guarantee that I will give you. It will get worse. It always will get worse, and then it'll be fatal. Drug addiction or alcoholism, when not treated, is always fatal in the end if you don't treat it. Conversely, I will also guarantee you that if you do spend some time in recovery and put some time together, what have you, my promise to you, and this is a 100% guarantee, that your life will get better. It will be better than your worst day in recovery. Your best day, excuse me, your best day drinking. What's the saying again? Your best day, your
Your worst
best
day in recovery is better than your best day drinking, maybe,
That's
or
the one.
using.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Um, so, that's the only thing I can say.
You know what? Another thing that helps keep me clean and sober, even when I do get cravings or something, is, me. I'm a thinker. I'm constantly in my head, and
Yeah.
it's like everything I've survived. could you fucking imagine? I mean, like, you're talking about decades of drinking hard liquor, seizures from alcohol withdrawal, having to be medically detoxed, the DUIs, fucking, not to mention the crime and violence and shit. And then, cocaine. I mean, fucking massive amounts of cocaine over decades to the point where it fucked my entire heart up and gave me congestive heart failure. And I'm still alive and relatively well. I'm doing pretty goddamn good,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
imagine, this is the way I see what I say to myself. Like, let's say I went out tonight and I had a fucking drink, or I wouldn't just have a drink. Let's be honest, I'd have a
Mhm.
bunch of drinks,
Right.
and then I drove home and I got killed in a car accident, or I killed
Yeah.
somebody else,
Yeah. Yeah.
or I take some drinks and go get a line, go get a
Yeah.
bag. I'm sorry, and do a couple of lines, and then my heart fucking stops.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like I don't know what's the word. I'm not tempting fate, but yeah, maybe tempting fate. It's like I don't know, like uh, I don't know. I don't know what words I'm looking for, but you know what I mean. It's like you're taking a chance after all you've made it through. You could do one little thing, and wind up costing yourself your life or whatever. You could
I,
fucking
you know,
or you could wind up, who knows, maybe you kill a few people in a car accident and you fucking go to prison for the rest of your life. I mean, and if it wasn't for that one small relapse,
uh,
you'd still be alive and well and doing fine.
I always use this analogy. Recovery is like the candlelight in the middle of the storm. At any moment, out it could go. You know, you always have to protect it. You always have to do whatever you possibly can to stay out of the eye of the storm, because, the fact of the matter is that drug addiction and alcoholism, at least I believe, is a disease, and that disease can be awoken at any moment and take you down and destroy your life and that of others. So, recovery is a temporary respite from an otherwise fatal disease. And it always has to be, you always have to be on guard for that type of thing happening. And you're right, you're one drink away from a complete disaster, or one line of cocaine away from
Yeah.
complete disaster. And God forbid, that something like that happens. Now, conversely, I happen to look at this from the more positive side. One moment, please, for a commercial break. Hello, Lila. No. Hello. Hello.
So adorable. I love that dog. He's so calm and she, I'm sorry, so
Yeah.
calm and just well
Yeah.
behaved, and oh my god.
Oh my God. The opposite. She's constantly getting into trouble. Look at that
Really? Not
face.
when I see her. Well, she does look guilty right now. I'm not gonna
Constantly.
front.
Okay. Today, the
Is that why she's
FedEx
always
guy
in that
comes
like?
with,
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
no, the FedEx guy shows up. Okay. Well, what does he show up with? The worst possible shipment. And Lila happened to be out of the house, which was 2 boxes of dog food from Chewy's. Okay. Well, they can smell that
Oh,
a mile away. So, of course, she chases the FedEx guy down the driveway. Okay. After the truck. All right. Out of the gate, heading towards the road, which is a long way from here, but whatever. Unfortunately, the FedEx guy, this is also in the middle of the motherfucker with the computer and whatever.
the
So the
fat
FedEx
fuck.
guy calls me and says, Lila, the sweet little dog, I love this dog, but he's following me. Is there anything I should do? Whatever. Thank God the guy called me and brought her back, to the house and
Wow.
what have you. I'm going to write him a letter of commendation for doing that, because you
Yeah,
didn't
you
have to
should.
do that. I'm gonna. I got the email for his boss. But anyway, so what were we talking about? I got
Well,
derailed.
here, I don't want to. I don't actually even. I want to move on to this just because I'm a little worried here about somebody. Beck said he snorted I don't know what. I've never even heard that word, but I looked it up and it's oxycodone.
Yeah.
He said not sure if he relapsed because he's still on subs. Was taking a lower dose than normal though, so I did feel it first time in 4 years.
So
Well,
who said this? What? Say that
Beck,
again.
it's on the screen. Snorted
Yeah.
ex Tampza, whatever that is today.
Okay.
Not sure if I relapsed because still on subs, was taking a lower dose than normal though. So I did feel it first time in 4 years.
Well,
I'm gonna let
um,
you take this one because I think I know what I want to say, but I don't want to fuck up.
yeah. The first question that I would have to ask is what was going on in your life such that you decided to do that? You know, did you relapse? I mean, in my world, absolutely, that's a relapse. Why? Because it's ingestion of a mind control substance. But does that mean that you can't start over again? Absolutely. But make no mistake about it. Snorting oxy or other narcotics like that, that would constitute a relapse. Sadly. Now, on the positive side, let me also say this. Um, it could have been much worse. Okay. For example, supposing whatever you were snorting would have been combined with fentanyl. Supposing you chopped up the oxy and it was, pharmaceutical oxy, and for whatever reason it went poorly and you went into a seizure, or worse yet, you didn't have any Narcan or what have you. Supposing, the drugs that you were taking to mitigate that didn't work, and you then did something which would have either killed you or somebody else. So my only point being is that, this was like loading a blank into a 38 revolver and putting it to your
Russian
dad.
roulette. Yeah.
Right. That's what it was. And this time, okay, the bullet was a dud. Next time, maybe not, maybe not. But Dax, if you need help, you want to talk about it, you want to write me, whatever. My Proton email account, for YouTube, everybody knows it. It's DAMB2020 at protonmail.com.
I didn't even
D,
know that.
yeah, you
Oh,
didn't?
I
Yeah,
don't. Maybe I
yeah.
did. Sorry. Go ahead.
Um, DAMB, Delta Alpha Michael, excuse me, P, excuse me, Bravo, 2020 at protonmail.com. And just email me. I'm happy to call you, talk with you, spend time with you, do whatever I can to help you.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I would say to that it technically is a relapse, absolutely. Even though he didn't feel anything, and it was a lower dose than normal. But
uh,
oh, he said he did feel it. He did feel it. Okay, so
yeah,
he did feel it.
uh,
Well,
well,
I'll just say this. I mean, just the fact that you're here asking
yeah,
about that tells us that you obviously know that you know you made a mistake. You fucked up a little bit. But based on the fact that you are aware of that, just don't take any more. Simple as
right,
that. I mean,
yeah,
that listen, if that's all the damage you did, you didn't do any damage. So just
right,
keep it moving and pick up where you left off and don't do any more because, like
right,
Don just said, you never know. Especially, bro. I told you. Now I don't know if you're on subs if it has any effect on tolerance or anything, but I had a friend named Scott who he went to jail after taking, he used to, a regular oxy addict. He took a lot at a time. And when he got out, he assumed that his tolerance was the same. And he took, he didn't even take his usual dose. He took, I guess, somewhere around that much. And he wound up dying. So
oh,
be very, very careful. And I don't know
yeah.
if, Don, maybe Kimberly could answer this better, but is the fact that he's on subs and taking the oxy, does that make it more lethal, so to speak?
I don't know about more lethal, but what I will say is um, that the dose, this is not an antagonist. In other words, the subs is not an antagonist. It doesn't nullify it. It's like saying, okay, well, I drank, 20 ounces of alcohol, but I also drank 40 ounces of water. Well, that doesn't lower the alcohol content in your blood. Okay, so same thing with oxy. All that the subs does is bind the negative effects of the oxy, so you don't feel it, but you can still overdose. The only thing that that stops the overdose in excuse me, Narcan. That actually takes you out of the overdose and saves your life. Um, but again, I concur with your assessment. You know, the fact that he came on the air or in the chat, essentially raising his hand, shows me he's got a lot of courage. And
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah,
Much
and
props to you, Beck, for real.
yeah,
Nobody, not many people would have done what you just did, bro.
yeah. Not only courage, but self-awareness and self-honesty that you don't see. I mean, if you've been reading these stories about these people down in Kensington, I mean, it's unbelievable,
Yeah.
unbelievable. I mean, you have to wonder how the hell does it happen that you find yourself down there, um, outside of Philadelphia, whatever. It's just unbelievable. The streets, and it's like an open drug, fair or what
It's
have you.
it's it's hell on earth. Beck, let me ask you
Unbelievable.
something. Beck said that he got it from a friend. It was prescribed. Is this the first time you've been around the oxy since you got put on Suboxone? I'm just curious. Like, I'm wondering if this is you know, anytime he's around it, he might want to use it or he might use it. I'm wondering. But I guess that's, a
Yeah.
possibility for any of us being around any of our drugs of choice.
Well, and
Oh, it's the
it goes
first
back.
time he's been.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So Beck, one of the things you have to ask yourself, or I always ask, is, there's an old saying: if you don't want to slip, stay away from slippery spots, stay away from slippery people. Okay. And like Chris, you were saying, a long time ago, um, when you came into recovery in an earnest kind of a way, most of the people in your former life you walked away from. You walked
Mhm.
away from the life, and then ultimately from most of the people. I mean, I
Yeah.
know that some of them are still your friends and what have you, but for the most part, you're not hanging with those kinds of people anymore.
Nope. Now, even the
So
ones that are still my friends, I don't, other than a quick visit here or there, and even
right,
that's once in a blue moon, like maybe once a year, I don't
right,
spend time around them
right,
because
right.
I know it's in
So
their pocket.
yeah, 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 exactly. And so my you know kind of like my sense here is that for Beck, one of the things that is your responsibility in recovery, and then what I said about guarding the candlelight of recovery, is guarding it also means that you have to stay away from slippery places and slippery people. And if you have a friend who has possession of oxy and dispenses it to another person, okay? And particularly if that friend has any hint that you're not using, okay? And he still gives it to you, that is the devil on earth, in my view.
Yeah, I
You
would
know,
agree.
yeah, yeah. It reminds me of my friend George. God, this is another short story. So George uh, was quite a guy.
Can I just say something to Beck before you go on?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm done. I do want to hear the George story though.
yeah,
Please don't lose that thought.
yeah.
Beck, I know, I'm just a fat-headed, fucking ridiculous, babbling idiot on YouTube. But if you ever want to reach out, bro, email me. I'll give you my number if you want to talk. I don't know if you're ever feeling down, like you want to relapse, want to call me like your least favorite content creator or something. If you want me to put a wig on and act goofy, whatever makes you feel better, hit me up, bro. Seriously, man.
And the same goes for
Anyway,
me.
yeah,
Um,
definitely. I'll put you in
yeah,
touch with Don.
yeah. So George was kind of a recovering kind of a guy, and one day he went to this bar, and um, and I met this guy years later when he told the story, and you'll get the punchline in a moment. So he goes to the bar and what have you, and he sits down, what have you, and has a Coke. Okay. So he figures all is good by that way. And then the bartender, he's talking to the bartender and what have you. And the bartender says, can I get something more than just Coke? And he says, well, all right, fine. Give me a scotch and soda. So but he says, I shouldn't have it because I've been in recovery for about, a year and a half now, and I really shouldn't, have it and what have you. So, so the bartender says, well, I'll tell you what, do you have, do you have your 30-day chip? And George says, yeah, I do. And he says, well, give it to me. And the guy takes it and puts it in a jar on the third shelf of the bar where all these other 30-day chips were, and gives him a drink and says, it's on the house. Okay.
Jesus
So yeah, Satan, literally. So now George gets, quote, raging resentments after he relapses. But his solution is a couple of days later, after he sobered up because he went out on a bender, he decides to go to, while he's getting some gas to go to work, he says, forget about that. I'm going to go and fill up this gas container and burn the bar down, which is what he does. Okay.
What?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. George is my type of guy.
I understand that. So, so I said, George, let me say this. How is it possible that this guy could simply make you, drink like that? He says, well, I was in a bad space at that particular moment in time, and it got a hold of me. But I got this motherfucker in the end. I burned his place down. That was on the 8th year of his sentence for arson. When I was early in recovery, he told me that story in the Milwaukee County, or excuse me, in the Wisconsin State Prison in near Madison, what have you. It was at a jail store. Yeah. Great story. I mean.
So what's how much time did he get?
15 years.
Wow.
Well, this is Wisconsin, 15 years.
That would be drinking hooch in there.
Well, no, the problem, he's been sober now for a long time. He's out now, and he goes to meetings and, very active in the recovering community and what have you. And he's not burning down any bars either. So now that's a sign of recovery.
I can't, well, how can he? He can't. He's fucking.
No, he's out.
What
now.
do you do? Oh, he's out. Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, now he's out.
Yeah, I'm reading the chat.
Yeah. So my only point being that, to Beck's story and what have you, if you don't want to slip, stay out of slippery spots. Don't be like George and hang out with bartenders that take away your sobriety in exchange for a free drink. And the result is you go burn down the bar. That's not a solution.
This is why, I don't listen. I'll tell you the truth. The people I'm still close with that are still in the street.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly think that if I even asked them for something, they'd probably slap the shit out of me, But I don't even put myself in a position where I would be tempted to. Like I said, other than a short visit once in a blue moon, I don't hang around there anymore. Even when I'm in New York City, which is damn near every goddamn day, I just go about my business. But I don't hang around these people, Like a couple of weeks ago, somebody asked me to go to a birthday party. Now, I knew who was going to be at this birthday party, what type of crowd it was going to be filled with. No, thanks. No, I'm good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Why would I do that? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, and it's not even about being strong. I'm sure I could go without doing a goddamn thing. It's just like, there's other reasons too. You got to learn to remove yourself from those people completely. And then, even if it's not just about, oh, well, I might be tempted to get something from one of them, you're just better off moving on with your life. If people are still using, as much as it might hurt, just cut them off. Move on with your life. Totally. Unless you could do something to help them. But if they don't want your help, I mean.
Yeah, well, that's a different story. I've also had circumstances where people who I was drinking and using with and what have you that have re-entered my life, if you will, seeking help or guidance or direction or advice or whatever. And I'm there in a New York second. Okay, I am, until such time as I believe that, they're not, genuine or interested or what have you. I'm not going to waste my time on it. I don't believe in dragging people into recovery. And I what have you. One moment, please.
No, it never works.
Cosmo is trying to break into Lila's house.
Who?
That's Cosmo. Wait a minute.
Oh, that's Cosmo.
Yeah. Oh, say hello. Say hello. Don't break into Lila's house.
God damn, I want those floors. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. The floors are beautiful, bro. Huh?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Um, but anyway, so back for a moment,
Guys, if
I
you if you
feel
if you
for
donate $500, Don Berlin is gonna pay to redecorate my house. I'm just kidding. Go ahead,
no,
Don.
no, no. That, by the way, whoever said, who was it? Some other night, I said that we supposedly split the money and that you sent it back to me. Let me tell you something. First off, number one, uh, I always try and keep my word. Okay. I fucked up on that show because I figured, okay, well, how much damage could be done in 10 minutes? Well, little did I know I was going to really get fucked because I thought it'd be like maybe 100 or 200 or something like that, but not 500. But no matter what it was, okay, this is the point of integrity is that you carry out what you promise to do. Okay. Don't, like say, you're going to do something and then not do it. So, to the person who thinks that Chris sent me back the money, A, you don't know Chris, and B, you don't know me. First off, A, Chris is a cheap cocksucker. If you think that he's sending you back anybody, you're dead fucking
This
wrong.
fuck out of here. If I said I was gonna, I would.
Well, yeah, I'm talking about, just generally speaking.
Yeah.
And right. And B, I would never in the wildest dreams engage in something like that. I mean, that's like the bartender who, takes the chip and gives you the drink. Please, it's
Well, it
insulting.
was it was Tony fucking Pizza, and he engages
No,
in that himself. He has people
yeah,
send him money, and then he sends it back. That's why
yeah,
he says it. Paulie Walnuts. This is your worst nightmares. Paulie Walnuts right here.
yeah, exactly.
1999. He said, "Don, we playing a game today? LOL. Just kidding. Love these shows. Thank you, Paulie Walnuts."
Thank
Yeah, you
you.
guys. I was just fucking around too. You guys, it's a addiction recovery show. You don't have to donate anything.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Save it
Tonight,
for the,
tonight, donate. Yeah, let me
yeah,
do a show tonight. How about? I think I made $12 yesterday. You could donate tonight, except
unbelievable.
for Anonymous Legion. He sent 100. Thank you. That's my
Yeah,
hero. You guys can
right.
donate tonight.
I don't, to your other question, speaking of which, I don't think that anybody or any events are causing this temporary cash drought. I don't think it's related to that at all. And you know what I'm
No.
talking about. It's just related to the time. Some days are good and it's like thunderstorms of cash. Other days you're in the desert.
Well, I look at it like this. It's the end of summer, pretty much. I mean, kids
Yeah,
are going back to school. Fucking people are taking their vacations. It is what it is. I
yeah.
listen. I know it always seems to equal out at the end of the month. It's just sometimes it's like oh, but I don't even want to talk about that on this show.
And then to that end, I did, go on TikTok, just because I've never been on until you brought it up the other day. And I did look up, addiction and recovery, okay, to see like what the channels were like and what have you. I didn't quite understand it though. I mean, it's kind of interesting how that platform is set up, but I didn't quite get. I mean, is TikTok intended to be not like shows like this? Or intended to be like 1 and 2 minute spots? Is that it?
Yeah, at first I think they were less. I think they were like 30 seconds or even less than that. But yeah,
Really?
that's all it is. But there is a lot of addiction and recovery. There's one guy in particular. Let me tell you about this dude, and I'm actually thinking about trying to get him on for an interview. He's
Mm,
very big on TikTok, but
mm,
he has a channel, and he's obviously very familiar with alcoholism. I'm pretty sure he was an addict. He does these simulations of alcohol withdrawal and stuff. It's amazing. Like he'll
mm,
show himself getting out of bed and he'll be and he shaking and fucking and sweating and it looks like he's in active withdrawal. You know what I mean? But
mm,
he's actually
mm,
just simulating it, and but he does some weird shit. I mean, he does a lot of shit that's very, very important. He talks to people. He puts out a lot of words of wisdom and advice. But he does these videos where he he pretends to be an alcoholic and show you where he hides his alcohol, and it's so strange. He hides like vodka in like an old can of black beans and stupid shit. It doesn't make any sense. And he'll try to show an example of how he would hide liquor from his wife at lunch, and he would have
Yeah.
like a can of black beans that he opened up, poured out, and filled with vodka. And I'm like, why would you have a can of black beans at fucking lunch? It's very weird. It's almost like he takes it too far. I'm curious about this guy, if he actually has any experience with it, or if he's just, watching Leaving Las Vegas. And I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to reach out to this guy. But there is some good addiction and recovery stuff to find on TikTok for sure.
I thought like if you put in the words addiction and recovery, it'll give you a count of how many channels pinned to that. And I thought it said 170 some. I'm not sure though. I just kind of like looked in on it. I didn't quite, kind of get it. The platform is really different than, like the YouTube experience. But I'll tell you, you might want to think about doing simulcasting and seeing whether, I mean, does TikTok allow live stream?
Yes.
It
Yeah,
does?
you have to have 1,000 or more followers, and you have to have had at least one video with 1,000 or more views in the last 30 days. So it's much simpler
Hmm.
than YouTube. But before I forget, I wanted to mention, because me and you already talked about that. I'm definitely looking into live
Yeah.
streaming on there.
Yeah.
But there's a black kid. I don't know his name. He looks like he's in his 20s, maybe early 30s. He's a gambling addict. And let me
Hmm.
tell you, I could watch his videos 24 hours a day. It's
Hmm.
amazing. Like because
Hmm.
he's still a gambling addict. So he gets cash apps. And this is how fucked up people are, because he's trying to quit gambling. He's lost
Oh,
everything. Every single day, he'll show you go to the ATM and overdraw his account just to get 20 or 30 bucks to go. He takes a bus to the casino. He'll go in the casino 10 minutes just to place one bet on roulette. He'll lose and he'll leave. What people started doing is they started cash apping him money and telling him, put this on 21, put this on 36, put, you know what I mean? And so it's enabled them to gamble even
yeah.
more, except they're
Yeah.
paying for him to do it. You know what I mean?
Ugh,
Which is again, that's not a permanent solution, because he will eventually not be getting that money from them. They're not going to do it forever. You know what I
no.
mean? And this kid has gone through a whole, list of jobs and everything, and he sleeps on a fucking mattress in an apartment in New York. He's got nothing. He can barely feed himself every day. He's eating like grilled cheese and tomato soup. And every time he gets his paycheck, within a couple of hours, it's gone at the casino. It's a great fucking channel.
Well, minus the paycheck and the job, it sounds like Tony Pizza, but gambling.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean,
Wakes up every day broke, needs more money.
yeah, right, exactly. Well, but so this guy, when he places the bet, say he's at a, roulette table, okay, and he puts $20 on say a quad of four, okay, and he wins. Does he split the money with the guy that gave it to him, or
Sometimes they'll stipulate if they want that. Like they'll say, if you win, and he'll do a video. He'll say, this is for so and so. He sent me $50. He said, put it on red 36.
yeah?
And if he hits, if the guy said he wants to split it, he'll split it. If sometimes they'll tell him straight up though, keep the money, or don't gamble it and just buy food, whatever. They'll tell him what the money's for. But
Mm.
it's a great channel, man, because you see what the guy goes through, and the anger he has and shit for what he's done to his life. It's all like a blog, or a vlog, whatever you call it.
Yeah,
Every day,
yeah.
it's a vlog of his
Jesus
life.
Christ, is that weird? I mean, that is really weird when you
And
think about
there's you want to talk about Satan. There's people. I watched one of his videos before people started sending him money. The guy had 90 something dollars in his account. He goes and takes out 120. Okay, he
it.
overdraws his account just so he can go to the casino. He's at
Yeah.
the casino. He's losing every goddamn bet, every spin. Okay, because roulette is his thing. He gets down to his last 20 bucks, I think, and he decides, okay, I'm going to keep this for the bus and for some food. Everybody in the chat is like, nah, you can't quit now. The next bet might be the winner. And I'm like, oh my God, you evil motherfuckers. The kid just wants to get home and eat something, and you're fucking telling him to keep betting.
You
Unbelievable.
know, in a way, that that kind of situation involving an audience like that reminds me of another, shall I say, a similar audience, because it's kind of like what they're kind of like rooting for is the train wreck, and the energy that they derive is watching the wreck occur, you know,
Yep.
and that's the entertainment for them. As sick as that may sound, and be, that's what it is, and that's what it sounds like to me. Um, and there's just, one of the things, since I embarked upon or fell into the YouTube experience and watching and what have you, it's an amazing experience from both a positive and a negative perspective. It really is. I mean, you learn and see so many different aspects of society that are from the craziest to, the sane, and everything in between. So many different kinds of personalities and motivations and, and what have you. And from the addiction and recovery side, you see a lot of incredible inspiration, by people. Beck is one, that, I used to tell people, this is a sad kind of a way to look at things, but I used to tell people I've learned more about recovery from the dead than I have from all of the people in any AA meeting I've ever attended. The single dead person. Why? Because that's the story I have to remember, because it could happen to me. And, everybody has a wise word when they're doing well, okay? But what can you learn from the fallen hero? What can you learn from the guy still struggling, from the guy that was fallen and or died, whatever? The thing with Mims, I mean, that really deeply affected me when that happened and what have you. It's sad. I mean, they're just so tragic.
That story is horrible.
Yeah, truly, truly. But that's what I mean. The life on YouTube is just so fascinating in that regard. Um, and I see that Chris disappeared, and now I'm making a lone appearance. Are you
Sorry,
still? No, you're back. You're back.
I kicked myself off again as
Oh,
usual. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
nice.
What were you
Yeah.
saying?
No, what I was just saying was it's just amazing the people you meet and whatever, the stories you hear and what have you. I mean, because at the end of the day, really, I've always said this, I'm here because of this channel more than anything else. Everything else is frankly collateral to me. Um, and there's just been so many people that are really fascinating, their stories and their chats and their struggles and their celebrations as well. That's why this channel has meant so much to so many people and what have you. It really has.
I
And
know.
it's such an accident too,
Yeah, I know. It really is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Listen, I was talking to somebody about it earlier. I'm so grateful that I get to do this, and try to help people out. It's an amazing thing.
It is. It is.
Just got to do a bunch of dirty shit to finance it, unfortunately.
Well, hey, listen, the devil's got his due,
Yeah.
Sometimes in life you have to do things that, have to be done in order to somehow or another find the greater good. And that's just the way it is. It's like Cosmo here. You see, Cosmo, what do you have to say to everybody? Whoops, hold on. He's a little bit camera shy, but come on, say hello. Say hello. Where's Peanut at when we need him?
Braden has Peanut upstairs right now.
Well, whenever you get down here, you can't bring Peanut with you because you could bring Rusty. Rusty could take care of himself, but I would be really afraid for Peanut because I don't know what these kind of dogs would do.
It's funny. Rusty is scared of him. It's hilarious. Rusty runs
Yeah.
from him and shit. It's a trip.
Really? God.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, well, he's
Yeah.
50 times the size of Peanut, but
Does he bark at all yet?
Oh my God, it's so cute. If you heard him bark, Don, you're like, "Wah, wah,
Yeah.
wah, wah, wah." It's
Yeah.
so funky. He just makes noises.
Oh.
He's a trip. He's a fucking
Dogs are
trip.
great.
Yesterday, he laid right on my neck, literally, and just fell asleep on my neck. And I just didn't have the heart to move him. You know, I was like,
Yeah.
fuck it. Let him. So what if I choke or just, suffocate?
Yeah. Well, just don't be like Christopher Maltasanti, please.
Oh my God. Bro, I almost did it yesterday.
Oh,
I
yeah.
came in the living room with some food. I sat down and I didn't realize he was behind me, and I came this fucking close. I was like, oh, I didn't. I
Oh
was like,
my.
oh my God, I was so fucking close.
Oh,
You got to be so
oh.
careful with him. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, I'm afraid to even walk him out in public. Like, anything could happen. He's so fucking small.
Yeah. No kidding.
We
Then
even
you
got
have
him a little cage for the outside just so he could run around in that cage when he has to go to the bathroom. And, I'm not just putting him out there. Fuck that.
this is the thing you got to get. This is Lila's little house, okay? And the thing, it's made out of nylon, okay? And then
We have,
inside, see inside, he's got his toys, okay?
yeah, that's what Shanna got him. We got
Yeah,
Peanut it's like a playpen for him. Yeah.
yeah. This is it,
Yeah.
And that's little Cosmo's house, who sits next door to him or her. You know.
So Lila has the bigger house.
Well,
That's fucked up.
yes, yeah, no kidding, yeah. But
The
that's
girl always
Cosmo.
gets spoiled.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So anyway, I think, the bottom line on the original question about resentments and what have you is that I'm going to go and mow the lawn pretty soon on the tractor. And, and which I got to do because it's been raining a lot here lately, so that it's like growing like hell. And if it gets like 5 inches or higher, that's really really tough to mow. Even on a tractor, it takes forever.
Why don't
So
you have a
I'm
guy? You don't got a guy?
I'm the
60,
guy.
70?
I'm the guy.
You're
No,
the guy?
no. I'm the guy. Yeah, yeah. I mean,
You ain't selling out for a fucking a
no,
landscaper? No.
no.
How big? How much property do you have though? I can't even wait to hear this.
The house is on 16 acres. Okay.
Get the fuck out! You do that by yourself, Don.
No. The house is on 16 acres. So let me just give you like the 411. So this is like on the heel, right on the foot of the Blue Ridge, or rather Bull Run Mountain, actually. And so it's in the middle of a forest. If you look outside, you can't really. Hold on one second here. Let me go outside. Hold on one second here.
I love
So-
looking at Don's house and its surroundings. Look at this shit. It's fucking pure beauty.
Yeah. See, it's in the middle of a forest.
Look at
Okay.
this.
So, and right beyond that tree line back there, that's Bull Run Mountain, and then right over Bull Run is excuse me, the Blue Ridge and so on and so forth. So the grass, which is over here, okay, is about 5 acres of grass. Okay, but look how it is though. It's really hard to do. Look at all the slopes and everything.
Of course, yeah. You need a guy.
Yeah. No, I'm the guy. Okay, so so that's hard. Oh,
You need a
Oh,
crew.
wow.
5 acres. So wait a minute.
Yeah.
What? I want to see this tractor. What? You don't have no regular lawn tractor. You got a monster, right? You stand on it probably, and it's fucking like a zero turn.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because otherwise, hold on one second here. I'll show
This
you.
fucking house. You son of a bitch. Look
Yeah,
at you.
and as I say, if the house is on, the lawn is on 5 acres, okay? But the lot that sits on the around the house is like 16 acres, but the whole thing is 166 acres. It's huge.
What?
Yeah, it's huge. That's the tractor.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. Now, when
That's
I
a
teach
big
you how to use this, you're, by the way, going to be the guy.
Teaching me?
Okay.
I don't
Yeah.
think so. I don't
Right,
think so.
right. No, that'll be a great YouTube kind of film. We'll do it,
Yeah,
you
Fat
know.
Bald Sicilian Mo and Don Berlin. Then
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, the rumors will really start. See, he does work for Don Berlin. He's his landscaper.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the tractor would have. And then you have these things with the pins here. so that this thing goes down and back. So it prevents, God forbid this thing turn over and kill me. That's what prevents that, this thing over here and what have you. So that's that part. And then the lawn that I have to do, next back
Oh,
here.
he's froze up. While he's frozen, Joseph Montanaro, I feel you, bro. I'd be
Nobody
terrified
around.
to live around those woods. I'd rather be in the middle of
Just
Brooklyn somewhere,
this.
anywhere in America, in a big city, America. I couldn't do the wood. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Don. You were frozen, so I started talking to Joseph. You got to go back and show us because you froze up completely.
Oh. Yeah, I think it's because I left the Wi-Fi and what have you. And if I do that,
okay, yeah.
then I lose the signal and what have you. Yeah. So.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, I'm back.
All right, there you go.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the Chewy box right there from when Lila was chasing after the Chewy box. That's where her food is at.
Look
And
how
then
pretty everything
back-
is. Look at this, the flowers. Look at this shit.
Yeah.
It's like a Zen
it's
garden.
beautiful. Kind of. Kimberly is into that kind of stuff. I mean, she's into the feed. Yeah, I'm into but whatever. So yeah,
Unbelievable.
that's for the grass, and then if I go further, I'll
Look at
lose the
that.
signal. But if you see there, all of that fenced-in area, see back, has to be done by a tractor. There's no way you can do that by a lawnmower. It'd kill you.
Jesus
So
Christ.
that is what I call resentment's garden. That's where I go
Resentment's garden.
deal with the resentments.
Not your Zen garden, your resentment's garden. Where's the Yardbirds, Benny? Benny Diova asked, "Where's the Yardbirds?"
No, no, Yardbirds. No Yardbirds. Yeah. We got just dogs and horses. So anyway, so that's my little tour. Hey, you know who I want to meet is Christopher Draga. Is he on today by any chance? Is he in the chat today?
Of course he is.
He is? I want to
Yeah,
talk with him. Give him my number.
Drager, you want to? Oh, I thought you meant on the show. Okay. Oh, well.
No. I mean, he can come on. I'm sure. I was listening to him last night or a couple nights ago, and then some time ago. He's a trip. That guy is really neat.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Especially his story is incredible, and what he went through and what he had.
I know. Yeah, he's a good dude, man. He well, I don't want to tell his story, but he was actually if you hear how his first experience with I guess heroin, we'll say, you would be shocked.
Yeah.
It's really a fucked up story.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah. They are all that way though. They're all that way. Every one of them is a fucked up story.
Well, this one though, this one is. Let's just say he was. I don't want to say without him being here, even though he's told the story on the show. War said, "So how much does the lawnmower make, Don?"
Huh. The lawnmower just costs money. Speaking of which, I got to get some gas.
No.
Too.
If, like, say I were to come there and mow your lawn once every week and a half, how much would I get paid?
I'd probably give you up to like $7.25 an hour. Do you think that's fair?
Get the fuck out of here. That's PA's minimum wage.
That's exactly my point. This would be a good. I'm for the humility vote.
You better
this
go to
be
the fucking Home Depot parking lot and find some guy.
No, it would be a nice humble position, what have you, and then after that you could do some weeds and we even got a bedroom for you too. Actually, it's more than just a bedroom; it's the back of the house.
So who does the rest of the 16 yards or 16 acres?
Well, most of it's woods. Okay.
Okay.
The only thing, the lawn part is about 5 acres, but it's difficult to do. Trust me when I tell you it is. It's not like straight lawns. If it was like that, it would go quickly. Okay, but it isn't like that. It's all these hills and what have you, and you got to be really, really careful because you could turn over, and it's almost happened to me. So you got to be, really. So it takes a long time. I mean, to do everything, it takes 4 hours by the time I do it all. And that's
It
just
takes
this
4
part.
hours.
Yeah, yeah. Because what I showed you is just inside the fence line around the house. Then there's another area that's even larger that's all lawn.
That
Um,
makes sense because my lawn on a riding mower
yeah,
takes about 45 minutes to an hour, and it's an acre. But there's not all those. I mean, there is hills, but there's not all those different. Like you gotta go around the fucking deck and all the different things,
yeah,
and you gotta cut
yeah.
all those different corners and shit.
Right, right, exactly. And you got to be careful because you can make these wrong turns on these on these hills and what have you, and then the tractor, and this has happened to me countless times, slides down into and sometimes even through the fence, and then it's not a pretty picture at all. Because
Jesus Christ.
how do you get it out of there? You have to winch it out, with
Yeah.
something else. Yeah, real bother. So
All right.
anyway,
Well, listen, Don. Thank you for coming on, man. I'll get
yeah.
Drager in touch with you.
Yeah.
And
Give Beck my number, have him call me. And,
I will.
anybody else who wants to email me, DAMB2020 at protonmail.com.
All right.
I'll always respond. May take me a little bit, but just be patient. I'll always get back to you.
And if you email me, I might get back to you 6 weeks from now. Tatone said, I'll do it for free, Don. Gotta let me ride your horses, LOL.
The horses, well, we don't have anything to do with the horses per se. We just have the land. We feed them. So the horses in the stables, are on our property, which is not uncommon here in Virginia. That's a lot of the ways in which it works. So the like lend leases. So we don't have anything to do with the horses or whatever. I do, ride them and work with them and what have you, just because I help a friend of mine out. He's also in recovery too, Tom. He's got an incredible story, Jesus Christ. But he works down at the stables and what have you. So we don't have anything to do with the horses, but we do with the land. So if you want to come and ride the horses, I can hook you up and what have you. And Chris, I know you're a real horseman, right?
Well, I want to pretend to be Billy the Kid.
Yeah, right, right. Right. Well, and then we can even, like have a fake, like a cardboard bank so that you can go in and rob it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And or I could rob a real bank. I mean, I don't know. If I'm on a
Well,
horse, fuck it, why not? We could get some guys from the chat like War and stuff. Who was the one that suggested it at first? Was that War? Hold on. Who wants to ride the horse? Oh, Tatone. We could have a group of regulators.
yeah.
Uh,
Right.
we could
Right.
prevent any stealing of your property.
Yeah. Right. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Well,
All right.
anyway. So,
right.
what time is it anyway? Jesus Christ, it's 6
Late. I
o'clock.
gotta go take a shower and shave my dumb fucking head. Thank you for
Yeah.
coming on, Don. You're the man. I
Oh,
appreciate you.
all right. Very good. Take care of yourself. God bless. I'll talk to
All
you.
right. All right. Talk to you soon.
Bye
Peace.
bye.
All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this show. It was a good addiction and recovery show, I thought, except for the parts where I talked. When I talk, it's just horrible. But Don's parts were good. So, Beck, listen, man, seriously, bro. I hope you're okay. And, if you need to talk at all, man, just hit me up. I'll put you in touch with Don. You can, we could talk, of course, if you have any desire to talk to me, which I don't know why you would, but never know. And that's it, bro. You know my email, fatbalditalian@gmail. I don't answer many, but I'll answer that one. And everybody else too, man. Listen, write down these numbers and please, 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 go get Narcan. Nextdistro.org. It's a very simple process. You watch a video, you take a 5-minute quiz, you put in your information, and they'll send you 4 of these. Okay? Everybody write down these numbers: the National Addiction Hotline, the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. Keep them close. Keep them on your purse, in your purse, your pocket, your fifth pocket, your man bag, your wallet, your fanny pack. Keep them in the inside of your hat in the lining. Keep them in. If you're a kangaroo, put them in your pouch. Whatever. Just have them close by, all right, in case you need them. Thanks for being here, guys. Hopefully, I'll come on tonight. We'll see. Guys, am I going to make money? Just to let me know in advance if I'm going to make money. If not, I won't come on. I'll save the time. Please let me know. All right. I love you all. And until next time, salute.